So today we're talking about that transition.
Yes, we're talking about the transition to teenagehood, and interestingly, it coincides with the transition to high school, because typically, grade 7s are 12, and then by the time they get to Form 1, they'll be turning 13, and they'll be getting into teenage. So that's what we're talking about today. Often we talk to parents because children will be in school, but because grade 7s finished their exams, I thought today we'll just talk directly to them, because I know that grade 7s are listening. And if you're a parent of a child who's in grade 7 and they are home, please call them and tell them to listen, because today's show is specifically for them. So we're talking about the transition to teenagehood. Teenage is a distinct period of time or phase, and there are a lot of changes that happens. A child will be moving from a point where they were dependent on their parents, where they weren't much of individuals. Most of the decisions, most of the choices that they made, they were made for them by their parents. They were not making choices on their own. But now when you're becoming a teenager, you're becoming an individual. And as an individual, you now have more responsibility. You now have more freedom. So I want to talk about what you as a grade 7 child, or as a 12-year-old, a preteen who's about to go into teenagehood, should start thinking about. So there's something that's called choices and consequences. So like I've already mentioned, as you're growing older, as you're getting into teenage, you're going to have more freedom, which is a good thing. But with freedom comes responsibility. You're going to be free to make choices that you want, take actions that you want, but then you must be able to handle the consequences that comes with every decision, with every choice that you make. I
guess this is so important, to know that you can make the choice, but then there are consequences. Even in adulthood, some are still going through the consequences of what they did when they were younger. They are younger selves, and maybe they never had this conversation as well. You can do it, but then there are consequences. And
then you have to face them. And I really like the point that you raised, that some people who are adults now are still living with the consequences or with the benefits of the choices or decisions that they made as young children. You could be a teenager. You start Form 1, and then you just make the wrong choice of friends. You hang around with the wrong type of friends. You're introduced to, maybe it starts out with just vaping, and then you go on to drugs, and then it continues, and you end up being addicted. As an adult, you may become a drug addict, but that is a result of just the simple choice that you made when you started school, just hanging around with the wrong people, and then you ended up like having these consequences now and living as a drug addict. So you should be very conscious about the choices that you make. And unfortunately, you've always been a child. You've never been a teen. You've never been an adult. So you don't have experience. And yet now the choices that you're going to be making can make or break your entire future. So there are areas that I want you to start thinking about, and these are areas in which the decisions or the choices that you're going to make will determine the kind of adult that you will become. The first one is academics. So what's your attitude towards academics going to be? Are you going to have that lackadaisical approach? If you're in primary school, chances are the teacher knew you, would give you a lot of attention, would push you. But that may be different when you become a teenager as you now go into high school. You're going to have so many teachers, and not all of them may be patient with you. So if you are not going to make your own decision to be serious, your own decision to actually study hard, you will just lag behind. And if you lag behind, that may continue. You go to your O level, you don't do so well. A level, you don't do so well. And your entire life will then be affected by that simple choice. The other thing is friends. I've already mentioned about friends. We often talk about peer pressure, but if you make the right choice of friends, yes, you're going to experience peer pressure, but it will be positive. I don't know if this makes sense, but there are times in school, if you had friends who were so into books, you would be thinking about just going to play or have some other fun, and then you see your friend is saying, hey, but mangwana tine exam. That's the day, mangwana tine exam. And then at the end of the day, you end up feeling like, no, I can't be the only one who's going out to play. Okay, let me just study also.
Yeah.
So you're peer pressurized into doing the right thing. So if you make the right choice when it comes to friends, and my advice would be, if you're going to a new school, the first thing you need to do is to chill. You've never
before you
been
start
there.
making friends.
Yeah, just chill before you start making friends, before you start doing anything even.
What should they look out for, like, in picking friends? Because sometimes maybe for like these young kids, it just happens naturally. Now as adults, no, we don't connect, and you're feeling the aura, you're feeling the energy, and you don't just rock up and you have a friend.
Yeah, you know, that's an important question. When you're young, we make friends or based on silly things. Sometimes maybe we just share the same bus. We use the same bus to school, so therefore that person becomes my friend, or because we are in the same class, or because we go to soccer together. That's how you used to make friends when you were in primary school. But now that you are in high school, you need to think deeper. You need to look for a friend who shares the same values with you, who believes the same things that you believe. So, for example, if you a person who's very serious about your academics, and you believe that you want to be a doctor, a neurosurgeon, or something like that, and that depends on how well you're going to do on your academics, then even if you play soccer with somebody, if that somebody is bunking lessons, if that somebody is always mocking teachers, then that person can't be your friend, because what you believe to be dear to you, which is your academics, they don't value it. So think about the things that you value, and then look for people who value the same thing. Those are the people to become friends with. Anyway, moving on. So I talked about academics, which is an important area where you're going to need to make a choice, and then friendships, and then there's also media. So now that you're moving into teenage, there's this issue of trends. You want to follow the trends. You want to know what's happening. You want to follow every TikTok video. So I want you to make a choice and actually have like your own schedule, screen time schedule. If you don't have a schedule, and you might end up like spending too much time and developing an addiction. There are times when you say, let me just watch this last TikTok video, and then I start studying, and then okay, let me just watch another one. Oh, let me just watch up to 10 p.m. Oh, let me just watch up to 12. Anyway, I still have some days to study. I can always study tomorrow. So make sure that you actually come up with a screen time schedule right now, and force yourself not to be on social media even when you feel like it. That's what discipline is about. Discipline doesn't mean that you always feel like doing the right thing. Sometimes you actually feel like, oh, I need to smash this person. I'm so angry. But if you're disciplined, you're going to control your anger, and you will not do as you feel. The other thing is dating. So whether you like it or not, now that you're becoming a teenager, when you go to high school, everyone around you is going to be older than you. They're from 2s up to 6, and they're going to be coming after you, whether you're a boy or a girl. So this is pressure that you're going to have to deal with. So you have to think about it. How are you going to deal with this pressure? Are you going to give in to the pressures? And then, sometimes my form 1, because this is something new, and then they get all this attention. And then 5 my boyfriends, everyone who's coming at them, they are accepting the proposal and all that. So it's something that you actually have to think about, and you have to be disciplined about. And this, for some of you, will be the first time you're going away from your parents, and you have an opportunity to make a decision without their influence. Saka, you can make the wrong decisions. Also, pinda patite. Maybe you're going to high school. It's you've gone beyond the time where you're just making decisions for the sake of your parents. But even Vasiriko, when you make your own decision, if it's a wrong decision, if consequences come, then those consequences will come at you. They will not go to your parents or anyone. They'll come at you. The other issue you have to look out for, drugs. So some of you, maybe you're in a primary school where you never had about drugs, where you never saw drugs. We often talk about vaping and things like that. Maybe you don't even know what that is. But now that you're going into a high school environment, you're going to come across such things, and you have to make a decision. Develop the courage to say no to the things that you don't want. When I was younger, there are times when I would be in a situation, and then I end up just going with the flow, not because I really want, but because I'm afraid to say no. And I'm thinking about, what would my friends say if I say no?
That I'm not cool enough.
Yeah.
I think the most important word, even as the kids transition to teenagehood is that no.
No, yeah, firm no.
A firm no.
A firm no.
To say it's okay to say, no, I don't want to partake in this.
Yeah, I'm cool, I'm fine. Being assertive, something that you have to practice. And for you to be able to practice that, write all these things I'm telling you down. So, for example, drugs, what's my stance on it? My stance is I don't do that. So you write it down. So if you write it down, what you're doing is before the incident comes, you're actually training your willpower. So when the incident then comes, you've already practiced it, and it'll be easy to say. The other thing, area where you're going to have to make important decisions in is your relationship with parents. You're going to realize that there's going to be more friction between you and your parent. Because now you're growing older, your choices are going to be different sometimes with your parents, and as a result, there's going to be friction. But what I want you to always remember is that in whatever you do, whatever happens, remember that your parents have the last or the final say. So you have to accept that. And sometimes their final say is something that you may not like, but they are your parents, so you have to accept it.
And they don't hate you.
Yeah. Most of what they do comes from pure intentions. They come from love. Yeah, it may not be something that you agree with, but normally it comes from love. And if you learn to convince rather than to confront, you're going to be happier. Because your parent,
rather than confront.
Yeah, your parent is not your friend. So she'll just say, no, I'm not going to support that. Or maybe you want to go to a party and you're having an argument. She's the one who will drive you to that place. If you fail to convince your mom, she'll just say, I'll not take you there. And she won't be affected. So I want you to realize that. So given all these things, now let me talk a little bit about what you need to do in order to improve the quality of your choices. So I've already mentioned you're going into a phase where there are a lot of decisions, there are a lot of choices that you're going to have to make on your own without your parents close by or adults close by. So to make quality choices, what can you do? Number one, it's always important to research. How do you research? Read widely. There are a lot of books out there written even about teenage that will help you understand what you're going through. There are also books written about money. Some of you are going to boarding school, and for the first time you're going to be getting taught, and you will need to know how to use your money wisely. I remember when I was younger, I think Form 1, 2, reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Richest Man in Babylon. Those books, they would just sharpen your thinking skills with regards to money, and then you would end up making better choices. So read even biographies. You can a lot of these things I'm talking about are actually free online, and you can just go online and then get this information. So be a reader, read widely. That will help and improve your decision making skills.
And just focus as well.
And
when
focus.
You read, it gives you some form of stability and your assertiveness, your equity. You're not easily swayed. Yeah.
And you know what? I know in this generation there's this argument that I can watch videos. I don't really like reading. I can watch videos and all. But what I need you to understand as a young person is that books and videos are different. Books normally go through thorough editing. And this is a compilation of someone's finest thoughts. Unlike talking, like I'm talking right now, I make mistakes in my talk and there's no room for me to correct. But had it been a book, I would write it. I'd go over it, maybe give it to somebody, they edit it. So these are the finest thoughts.
Proofread and editing
and all that. So that's the advantage of books. And then get into the habit of asking questions. When you don't understand something, don't just make a choice. Ask. We used to always laugh my restaurants. You just pick a thing from the menu. You have no clue what that is. And then you're looking at other people and you're wondering, okay, is this what I ordered? But what is this? I don't understand. So it's important because you don't know many things. And then mentorship also. Maybe you've got older brothers, they are older students at the school that you're going to, and you really like how they do their things. You emulate them, go to them. Form a relationship with them, ask questions so that you can also learn how they managed it when they were at your age, and that's how you can actually become a better person and make better choices. I'm just saying that our time is fast running out. So if you're a parent of of a grade 7 child, or you're a grade 7 child, and you just finished your exams, you are interested in getting more information about what you can do in this transition to teenagehood, my contacts are 0773 606 728, 0773 606 728. You can just send me a WhatsApp message and I can give you some more information on how you can transition. I actually have two PDFs on puberty, one for boys, one for girls. So if you're interested in getting one of those, just write your name and your child's name on my WhatsApp and I'll be able to send it to you.